Hello and welcome to the Booked Crypto Club weekly catch-up on Zoom. It is Sunday, the 1st of May 2022, and as is usual with these sessions, we're going to be talking about, well, whatever really. We sometimes talk about cryptocurrencies, blockchain, DLT, DeFi, NFTs, ICOs, STOs, all these kind of magical, mysterious letters. We try to explain what they are, what they mean, how they work. The sessions are open to novices and experts alike. Do come along and join in. The sessions are open. If you check the link below, then you'll find details of how to connect to a future session. We run these events every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. UK BST. Everyone is welcome. So if you're just learning in the space, and there's so much to learn in the crypto space, then do come along and feel free to ask questions. Or if you're an expert and you'd like to share some details about a project you're working on or some technology you're involved in, then come along as well and share it. And equally, if you're somewhere in between, we're all novices in some way, we're all constantly learning, but everyone is welcome to come along and join it. Do remember to click on the subscribe, smash the like button, make comments. If you ask any questions in the comments, I'll try and reply to them either as part of the YouTube video or even on one of these future sessions. Let's see who's going to come and join us today. You're
right there, Gary. How you did?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, mate. At the moment, I'm currently working on I've taken up the word digital fashion project. You know, I heard that word in the Twitter Spaces, and I was trying to describe to people before in kind of like one word, what you could call a physical NFT. And I think that digital word, it just sounds really nice. You know, so somebody else had said that, you know, we're doing a digital project with real assets and, you know, digital assets. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds really cool, you know. So from then I've kind of been using that terminology for it. But what we're actually doing is building fashion. So we're building real world fashion. We're building also metaverse fashion, obviously. And we're building some collectibles of artwork and different ideas we've got around the collectibles. But with the real world garments, what we're trying to do is just use different materials that have some kind of material value rather than your regular everyday cotton and stuff like that. And then also we're trying to sustainably source and look for other sustainable materials as well to use alternatively. And then the garments themselves are NFC chips inside the garment, so they're enabled, and that allows people to what we want to do is build human connections between people. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing is kind of Bitcoin focused rather than being just crypto focused. And it's just to kind of get people to learn about Bitcoin, see the symbol everywhere, and then connect with other people who they see wearing similar fashion, you know. So incentivizing.
I get to ask the obvious question straight away: is what you're wearing now going to be part of the collection?
This hat is like, these are pre-prototypes. I've got to hit up everybody, like just for speaking to James, right? I've got to hit up so many people in the UK right now, but these are kind of like pre-prototypes. So these are just standard denim caps, and we've used this insignia to get instead of get money, get Bitcoin insignia. And this is what we're going to use for our actual first drops, this insignia here. So this one is just denim ones. We're giving these out to a few people that we feel are helping to drive the message home. And you know, a few legends, if we can meet up with them. I said to somebody the other day, if I could bump into Andreas again, then he'll get one, definitely. So yeah, we're using it kind of like a bit of promotion right about now, but we had some prototypes of these, which are the same denims, and then we've just put the NFCs inside of them and then tested the connections. So we're at a stage right now where we're moving into looking at how we're going to develop the smart contracts firstly, and then just going from there, really, just picking it up, you know.
So I'm loving the shirt. Is the shirt part of the deal?
No, this is just a Ghanaian shirt that my mum picked up for me once in Ghana. So yeah, I kind of like wear it like it's like my lucky colourful shirt. Yeah. So
I can't quite see it. I've got a smallish screen at the moment. But I was looking, if those red bits on it were little Bitcoin symbols, that'd be absolutely awesome.
Yeah. So designs like that is actually like what we're going for. We're going for like the crypto crazy design. But
Yeah.
as I was explaining to James the other day, what we are purposely avoiding, and what I was saying to you guys in the conversation, we're purposely avoiding selling merch style items. Like our garment technologist, right, Marlon, he hates when people call things merch. He just jumps out the window. If you call anything merch that he makes, he'll go crazy. So, and I feel him because there is a line, isn't there? There's a line between, and I've seen, I mean, when Uniswap did it, it was a bit of fun, you know, like Unisocks. It was a bit of fun. Let's crowdfund some merch, you know, and I can get that it's a bit of fun sometimes, and you can raise a bit of funds to do it. But if you're thinking about, let's say, a long-term project, right? I see, again, everybody's making metaverse items, but it's like, you can apply this NFTs, these contracts in so many other ways with embedded technology. So why would you just be focused on just this? You know, the brands are all coming in, oh, metaverse, because it's a new cash cow. And, you know, for me, it's like, I was sitting there for ages, Gary, like last year, yeah, just like, why are these people spending all this money on pictures? Like, I just can't get it. And as I said, I like the creative side. So it's not, I'm a creative. I come from music background, like been doing music since I was 10 years old, you know, like, so I get the whole creative side of it, but it's just, it was getting over the top. I saw so many PFPs, everybody, oh, you know, I paid 10 grand for something that's going to be worth 2 pence tomorrow. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, the real world utility really hit me hard. So I was like, I have to make something of that.
Well, at least the nice thing with fashion type thing is that even if the NFT tanks, you've still got something to wear. And it's a bit like having one of those rare tour T-shirts where you can say, I was part of that movement type
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
That's definitely got bragging rights attached to it, which is what NFTs are about ultimately. It's all about the bragging. Cool, excellent. Okay, I just saw we've got Peter back again. Hey, Peter. Good to see you again.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how's your crypto world of late?
Yeah, I mean, usual stuff. Stuff popping along.
Yeah, you're just watching Bitcoin channeling between what is it, about 38 and 45 or something at the moment?
Yeah.
Waiting for the breakout.
Yeah.
Cool, excellent. Well, good to see you back again, and we've got Elena as well, who's my rock star novice. She's not actually a novice; she's an expert. We realise now because she asks some really cool questions.
I hope to be one day.
That's good. And we've got I see is it Rabia joined us as well? Hey, you waved and you smiled, but you're on mute at the moment, which is just so 2020.
Yeah, that is so typical me, always speaking with the mute thing on.
That's good. Hey, good of you to join us today. This is the first time you've been on one of these calls, I guess.
Yeah, I am here for the first time, and I'm new to this world. I don't know much about it.
Brilliant. Well, you've got along today a real range of people from the expertise of, if you want to know about fashion and crypto, then we got, do we call you Nate or is it Nathaniel? I've seen you address this both before now.
Everyone, do you know what? Everyone in crypto just calls me Nat, and that's just it. So I'm just stuck with it now.
So if you want to know about the fashion side of things and NFTs and that kind of thing, Nat's the guy. If you want to know about Bitcoin price movements and the stuff going on behind the scenes, then Peter's definitely the expert because he does a lot of tracking, that kind of thing. Elena keeps claiming to be a novice, but has been in this space for long enough to not be now. It's good, but particularly around blockchain and provenance and that kind of thing. I think it's one of the areas that Elena's been into. And I've been in the blockchain space and the crypto space since about 2016, which makes me a novice compared to some and an expert or a long-standing person compared to others. I'm definitely not an expert. So if there's anything you want to ask, this is a great opportunity. I always say no such thing as a stupid question. And one of the reasons we record these sessions as well is because sometimes someone asks a really great question that makes you think a little bit. And then by playing it back later, it means people can watch it and learn from it. So this is all about learning and sharing. It's all about the community. So what brings you along today then? Is it Rabia?
Yeah, it's Rabia.
So what brings you along apart from a general interest?
I I feel like that people who invest in Bitcoins, they tend to advertise it a lot. And I don't understand. Um, I think it is not for everybody. I can't understand it. Just like internet, I use it, but I don't understand it.
So you know different to most people in the traditional finance world. You know, I get this all the time that people keep saying to me, "Oh, I'm not getting into crypto because it's too complicated and I don't understand how it works." And you say, well, okay, do you have a bank deposit account or a current account? And they go, oh, yeah, sure. Do you know how that works? And they start explaining how they think it works, and it's not. And you start explaining about how banks and correspondent banks and retail banks and the central bank and how they use leverage and how they do all sorts of things. And they go, I did not know that. So what you find is, as you start learning about crypto, the rabbit warren of how real world finance works becomes unraveled. And you suddenly understand that you didn't understand that either, but you've been using it for years. So this is what I say to people about crypto. Learn what you can, but you don't need to know how it works in order to use it. So it's a great thing on that. It's definitely a thing. And also the great thing is that the crypto community is a community. You know, you'll find people like me and a number of others who are really keen on helping educating people and learning. So if you've come along today with any basic questions, ask away.
Yeah, so what do you do? Like you buy Bitcoins and then you sell them online and you...
It depends. Different people do different things. So some people buy them with them being like a long-term investment. So they're thinking of it as being an alternative to something like gold or silver, that they've bought Bitcoin or a number of other cryptocurrencies, and then they don't do anything with it. They lock it away in the hope it's going to increase in value over time. And Bitcoin, for example, it doesn't matter when you've bought Bitcoin, as long as you've held it for at least 4 years, you are definitely ahead. So Bitcoin for investments might be a long-term type thing, but I'll always add the caveat, I'm not offering financial advice, legal advice, taxation advice, or some of the stuff I get involved in, criminal advice, because people keep talking about crypto is a great way for money laundering and that. And actually it's not. The US dollar is far better for it. But yeah, so some people buy crypto in order to do a long-term investment. Some people buy it because they like to do a thing called day trading, which is where they're looking at the chart and they're looking at the things going up and down, and they're buying at this price and selling at this price, and are really, really active. And they're doing a thing called scalping, which is where you just make a few cents here and there, and that just adds up. So they're active traders. Other people have got software, which are called trading bots. So for robotics, and these little bots pick up the signals and they automatically buy and sell, that kind of thing. And that's absolutely fantastic. If you don't know what they're doing, it's a brilliant way of losing money even faster than anything else you've ever known before. So it can be really, really risky on that. So everyone's into it for a different reason. So I got into it simply because I'm fascinated by it. And I found the best way of learning about something is have a go and dive in. So have you had an opportunity? You've looked at, you have a crypto wallet, or you bought any crypto yet, or are you just exploring at the moment?
No, I haven't bought it. I mean, I don't know how do you buy it? Do you go to, I mean, it's not like a bank. I go to a bank, I talk to my contact person and get an account. I mean, it's, yeah, I'm basically I'm a complete beginner. I won't be able to have an interesting conversation.
No. I mean, far from it, because you're actually asking for exactly the right thing of where does a complete beginner begin? So absolutely. So the first question back is, which country are you in to begin with?
Germany.
In where, sorry?
Germany, Münster.
Yeah. Münster, okay. So the first thing is to join something like crypto.com or coinbase.com. There are a couple of websites where they allow trading, that kind of thing. Then you'll have to create what's called a crypto wallet. So it's a bit like opening a bank account. You know, you'll have to provide them with details of who you are, your name and address, that kind of thing. That's because all crypto exchanges and wallet providers, or the centralized ones, have to maintain details about who they're trading with to make sure they're not breaking any sanctions or anything like that. Once you've gone with something like crypto.com or coinbase.com or blockchain.com, they're all really good websites. They'll actually talk you through creating a wallet. So a wallet is like creating an account, okay? And then you transfer some euros or some dollars, or if you're in the UK, some pounds, into your account. And then you can go online and you can buy and sell Bitcoin to begin with. Now, the thing with Bitcoin is that if you've heard about the prices of it, currently people in the crypto world tend to talk about prices in dollars, just a habit. And so Bitcoin at the moment is probably around about $40,000. So straight away people say, I can't afford that. No, I can't afford to buy a whole Bitcoin. But a Bitcoin is broken into 100 million pieces, okay? And the smallest unit, so just like a euro you can buy, a euro is broken down into cents, and the British pound is into pennies. So a Bitcoin is broken into 100 million units called satoshis. So a satoshi is like 0.00000, lots and lots of zeros, one of a Bitcoin. So you can actually buy like 20 euros of Bitcoin if you wanted to. Probably find, depending upon which exchange you go, there's going to be a fairly high commission paid. And so this is why it's worth looking at the various websites to see how much it'll cost you. Just give it a go. If you've got a few euros spare, you know, I always say to people, never put into crypto more than you can afford to lose. And by lose, I mean completely lose. So, you know, I know some people who they talk about, oh yeah, I'm going to put some money on my credit card. Don't do that. If you need to use a credit card to buy something, you can't afford to lose it because you can't afford to buy it. So yeah, just go to one of those websites, take a look at it, set up a wallet, transfer some euros if you can afford it at this stage. It doesn't have to be a massive amount, and take a look at buying some Bitcoin, or maybe better, and Peter might have a view, or Elena, there are different cryptocurrencies which are cheaper to buy and sell. So like Bitcoin Cash is an alternative. Bitcoin Cash is similar to Bitcoin in that it's a cryptocurrency. At this stage, you don't really need to know the difference. It is cheaper because it's not so popular. Give it a go, and this way you get to discover the whole thing about creating a crypto wallet, which is quite scary when you do it for the first time. But, you know, come back on here, reach out, people will help you. Don't share the details of it to anybody. So it involves creating what's called a seed phrase. So this is a list of words that you stick away somewhere to make sure it's safe if you lose the wallet. And it creates what's called a private key. Don't share that. If you share either of those with people, they can hack into your wallet. So be very, very careful. So the starting point for now, for me as an absolute beginner, I would say just go to something like crypto.com or even Binance.com, which is more advanced. Go to a website, create a wallet, put a few euros in and buy something just to say you've done it. And at first it'll be really scary. It'll feel quite difficult, but then you'll do it again and you do it again and it gets easier and easier. I don't know, Elena, are you in that space where you've tried buying any crypto yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Peter, any thoughts, any suggestions for a complete beginner?
I mean, firstly, kind of differentiate between what's your kind of fun play around money and your investing money. Be clear on that, because you can have like a bit of money to just have a bit of fun, etc. But don't make the mistake of like thinking it's an investment. If you want to invest, don't mess about. For kind of retail, like generally the best thing is kind of buy a bit of everything or tracker products. That's for investing. For kind of messing around, having a bit of fun, yeah, buy a bit of this, a bit of that, but keep it in very small amounts. And be aware that it's for having a bit of fun and playing around and not making money. But I've just seen on your background, you still got a BitConnect logo.
Oh, I am. Better go and hide it. I'll need to update.
You may want to update that.
You called it, man. You called it, Peter. I saw it a little while ago, but I didn't say anything because that's like a popular old wallpaper, isn't it? Like, so
yeah,
it's like,
yeah. You're, good. Cool. Thanks for that, Peter. See, this is the thing you'll discover as well, that the world changes quite quickly in the crypto space. Yeah, he's now looking at all the others. I'm going to have to blank them off so you can't see them. There'll be
most of them are pretty old.
Yeah.
If I get 2017 by the looks of things.
Yeah, and he's going up.
Fell down.
Made safe coin and all of that's on there. I can see that.
So this is my historic wall, okay? It's to show I've been in it.
The ones on there, not the ones you want to buy.
Yeah.
Or the fails.
Yeah. Well, which actually is a great lesson as well. So for those who are novices in this space, most people have heard of Bitcoin now, but there's actually several thousand cryptocurrencies out there. Yeah, you'll certainly have heard of Bitcoin. You might have heard of Ethereum. You may have heard of Bitcoin Cash because I happened to mention it then. Then there are others like Monero, Zcash, Dash, all these kind of things. There are thousands of them, just like how it is that you've got in the traditional finance world, you've got like dollars, euros, pounds. You've got, I think it's 176 currencies around the world. And so, you know, they're all worth different amounts of that. Same with crypto. Well, crypto, there are thousands of them. And as Peter rightly said, you know, there are some of these older ones which have been around for a few years and have died away, so they're not really used now. And there are some newer ones. For this stage, for beginners, I'm not going to go into the difference between cryptocurrencies and crypto tokens. But as you'll get to learn about this, there are different things about the crypto space, lots of things to learn about, which is why I set this group up originally, really, to help people learn and to learn and share with each other. Yeah, definitely. So,
and Gary, just curious, and what happens if you happen to own some old currency that dies out?
Yeah.
Do you sell it? Is there anyone who wants to buy it?
There's usually people out there who'll buy it. If it's still traded on an exchange, then you can still, you know, buy and sell it, but it will be worth peanuts. So some people buy them up on the basis that they hope that it might actually turn into something in a few years' time or something. But most of the time, yeah, probably, I think with a couple I've dealt with, the transaction fee would exceed the amount I'd get for the amount of crypto that I had in a particular cryptocurrency. So yeah, it kind of depends.
Values slowly, and you're just left for it as a token.
Yep. So it's worthless.
Oh yeah.
So it's no different to. I've often described the cryptocurrency world as buying Pokemon cards, or top trumps, top cards, or collectible cards in some way. Some of them in a few years will be worth nothing whatsoever, and others will be quite a lot. And there's no sure way of knowing which is going to be which. So yeah, they can go to zero. That's just the nature of it. And if they go to zero, you can either keep them for posterity, or you can sell them for hardly anything. Not worth keeping. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But this is where people always say, well, which are the safe ones to go for? Yeah, the answer is there's no right answer. Nat, were you about to join in on there? You came off mute.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's better to buy a bit of, well, unless you're like properly immersed, to just buy a bit of everything, buy a tracker, because there's no way to tell. I mean, Bitcoin's probably going to be around for a good few years, but 15, 20 years, even who knows with that.
Yeah, it's a good call. I'll pull up in a minute. I find this quite a useful website, which is CoinMarketCap. And if I share this screen, and we can see the kind of cryptocurrencies it shows. So we have a look on here, and so some of the cryptos at the moment that are getting quite lively are around the NFTs and some of the meme coins. So ApeCoin is a crypto token that relates to the NFT market. But as Peter says, we've got Bitcoin. Can people see the screen at the moment on there? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got Bitcoin, which is like the original kind of like big daddy of the crypto space. It's the most enduring one that's been around for a number of years, followed by Ethereum, which is quite a big player. Then you've got a thing called a stablecoin. So Tether is what's known as a stablecoin. What stablecoin is it's a cryptocurrency that is aligned to the price of something else that it is stabilized against. So in this case, Tether is stabilized against the US dollar. So effectively, Tether tries to stay as close as it can to $1. So don't go in for a stable coin if you're looking to make money. Tether is used simply as an intermediary currency. So it's a trading currency. It's not one that you use for making money. Similar, BNB was kind of thing. BNB is the Binance Coin, which is used on the Binance blockchain, quite often used for buying and selling things. USD Coin is another stable coin, holding at just under $1 at the moment. And then you've got things like Solana. So Solana is a relatively new cryptocurrency. It sits on its own blockchain called Cardano. And this is where we can start to see, if we look at the markets on this, take a look at the prices, we'll see in all probability how it goes up and down everywhere. Just waiting for that to refresh. Yeah, so like most cryptocurrencies, that they go up and down, and we don't really know where they'll go next. So at the moment, it looks like, it might be that it's just hit a base here around about $84, and so it might bounce back up, or it might not. It might be completely crash, which is why I always say to people, I don't offer recommendations on finance, on buying and selling things. Any kind of questions from that, particularly Elena or Rabia?
Gary, you've just shared the screen with us, and there was this, what do we call it? The depiction of the currency going up and down, with those red and green, which are called
candles.
Japanese candlesticks.
Well, there's a technical doji candles, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you want me to quickly explain what they are?
I would like, yes, please. And would you also explain? You see, they're going up and down, and I know there are trends and patterns, and there are some. You would be able to see when it's the right time to buy and sell. Would you talk about this, please?
Okay, so I'll talk through what a candle shows, but I won't offer a way of using that to predict future prices. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So to begin with, what this is showing is that the price of the cryptocurrency. So in this case, we are looking at Solana against the US dollar Tether. So effectively, what it's saying is it's the price of Solana being a cryptocurrency, okay? It models itself on how traditional share trading worked. And with traditional share trading, you'd have a trading day, the London Stock Exchange or New York Stock Exchange would open at 9 o'clock in the morning and close at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, British time for London Stock Exchange, or New York time for the New York Stock Exchange. So what you have is a series of numbers. You've got what are known as OHLCV, are the important numbers, and I'll go through each of those. Your first number is the opening price. So this is the price at which the cryptocurrency, or sometimes the shares might be for a particular day. So we have a look at the candle here where it's green. At the bottom of the green is the opening price. Okay, so that's the price that when the exchange opened, that's the price it started at. Now this is where cryptocurrency straight away, this is technically not quite correct because cryptocurrency exchanges don't open and close. They don't have trading days. So this is kind of simulated a little bit, but think of it roughly that this is showing that the candlestick on this at the beginning of the day, so on the 24th of February, Solana opened at $84.55. Okay, so that's the opening price. The closing price is the top of the candle. So up here, the top of the green, it finished at $89.75. We okay with that so far?
Yeah.
So we've got an opening price and a closing price. Because the closing price was higher than the opening price, then the candle is shown as green. Okay. If it had been the other way around, and if we come on to the 27th of February, where the opening price was around about $90.27, and the closing price was lower, the closing price was $85.59, then the candle is shown as red. So the color of the chart, sorry, the color of the candle shows whether the cryptocurrency ended the day higher or lower. So that's straight away a way of showing a trend. So we look over here, we can see several days where Solana went up a bit, then went up a bit, then went up a bit, then went up. So you can see a trend here, a trend of going up and down. So that is what the solid bit of the candle represents. It's the opening price and the closing price. Then you might notice there are little things that are called wicks. See the little wicks here? Okay.
Yes.
And they might be above or below. They represent the highest price that the cryptocurrency reached during that day. So in this case, it looks like it ended the day at $120, but at some point it went up to as high as $124. So if you're
retracted back a little bit.
Correct. So what that can mean, and this is where the people who know more about this can explain better, is it means effectively that the price was being tested higher, but didn't actually reach it. You know, so at some point it traded up at this level and it dropped back down again before it settled out. So there we've got the open price, the close price, the low price, and the high price, which is marked down by the wicks. And this is where you get people who start getting into, as I say, doji candles, who will start telling you that there's all sorts of names for these different types of candles. So where they've got a big long wick, where they've got a narrow wick, there's all sorts of things. And people start using candles as a way of predicting future prices. In share trading, that kind of works because the share is matched against a physical activity of a business in some way. In crypto, I would argue that what's known as technical analysis, which is what using these candles for and that is for, all it actually does is it predicts what everyone else is doing because everyone else is using the same candles. So we've got the top chart here is showing the prices. So open, close, low, and high. Then underneath down here, you see you've got some different charts, and these are the volumes. So this shows how much was traded on a particular day, and it color codes it again that it's traded on a positive day where the price has gone up, the price has gone down. So that can be quite useful. If we look over here, we can see on the 23rd of January, sorry, the 24th of January, this is a day where there were probably a lot more crypto of Solana sold than bought. So it matches up with the prices and everything. That's probably a whirlwind tour on the things you can do. But what you can also do is you can then start drawing like trend lines. Not going on there. So you can start saying, well, is there a trend? Sorry, I haven't got the trend lines activated on this, so I won't go into it. But you can look into what the trends are. Now, this is the thing that this is on the 1 day price. So I set it to show that each candle represents 1 day of activity, okay? What you can also do is you can drill in and you can go into 1 hour. So this is now looking at 1 hour breakdown, and this is showing exactly the same as we saw before, but broken down into an hourly basis. So each candle now represents an hour, not a day. So we can see on the 30th of April, so yesterday, there was an hour of trading where Solana dropped from $89.95 to $85. So it dropped about $5, which is what? It's worth about 3 or 4% or something, so quite a significant drop. We can go even further. We can look at the 15-minute charts, and we can see that actually that hour broken out over here started dripping away, then it dropped, then it recovered, then it dropped. And we can even do it further. We can take a look at the 1 minute chart if you really want to drill in. And so we can see now that Solana at the moment on the 1 minute chart, so each of these little candles represents 1 minute of trading activity. So it's still got that, the open, the close, the high, the low, and the volumes per minute. So what you can see on Solana right now is that it's clearly on a downward trend when you look at it on a per minute basis, yeah? If we look at it on a 1 hour basis, you can see it's part of a wider trend that's in a downward cycle at the moment. And if we look at it on a 1 day trend, or a 1 week trend even, we can see it's all part of a wider cycle. So people use these charts just to work out where we are in the cycle, and they use that to then predict what they think is going to happen next. And there are no guarantees with any of it. Peter, have I said any of that completely wrong or messed it up or anything?
I mean, for kind of 101, that's fine, yeah. But
Yeah.
Stuff that isn't quite correct, but that's going into kind of the technicals.
Yeah. So that's keeping it a really simple level away. And the candle basically represents the trading activity for that period of time, whether that period of time is 1 week, 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, whatever. So it's a very useful way of beginning to see potential trends. Yeah. You've seen it that the solid bit of the candle shows the open and closing price, and the wicks at either end show the low and the high, and then the volumes that showed below. You can then start doing things like moving averages, so you can look at what the trend is over a period of time. You can look at what's known as the RSI index, which is the relative strength index, which looks at how, well, I don't even use RSI, so I'm not going to explain what it is, but there are various other indicators and that kind of thing that people use. And it quickly changes from being a science to an art in terms of things. So for those who are just getting into it, I describe charting as just a great way of looking at what the market is doing. But don't get too heavily into it. You can read whole books, and there are websites and YouTube videos that will go into different dojis. So you can look at patterns. So there are certain well-known patterns. There's a thing called a head and shoulders, which is where you'll see the price go up, down, up and then down a little bit. Then it'll really go up, and then it'll really go down, and then it'll go up, down a little bit. But there are so many potential things. And this is where it gets really funny. You can watch people on YouTube talking about all these candlesticks and doing technical analysis. And they'll start saying, oh yeah, well, this is a rising doji here, or this is a head and shoulders here, and this means this, blah, blah, blah. But they only ever do it on what's already happened. They don't actually use it to tell you what's going to happen next, which is where it gets really interesting. Hey, Sandy. See, Sandy's joined us a little bit late today.
Oh, yeah. Hello. Hi, Gary. Sorry, I was late.
Hey, no problem at all. We've just been talking about some basic technical analysis and looking at candlesticks on crypto prices.
Okay.
Which is a fascinating area. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that kind of thing yet, but I find it fascinating.
No, I mean, first time I'm heard this term, but no.
Okay. Well, it's certainly a useful thing. If you go onto some of the exchanges, and I tend to use Binance because I find their site's quite easy to use. It's a great way of looking at current prices of different cryptos and looking at whether, broadly speaking, if they're going up, down, or sideways. So I was talking about Bitcoin before. Bitcoin seems to be exhibiting some what is known as channeling at the moment, where it's operating between a range, which means it's not really doing anything of any interest. But once it moves out of that range, it might get quite good. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So I'll pull it up on the screen. But for those who are just getting into this, I find it fascinating as a hobby in its own right, where it can get very, very complicated quite quickly. So we look at this. This chart is showing Bitcoin against Tether, so USDT. So it's the equivalent of looking at Bitcoin price in dollars, in simple terms. And we'll see, back in 2020, it had this complete explosion where it all went up really, really nicely, peaked out around about $38,000, and then dropped away and improved. And then if we look to more 2021, where it peaked out, it hit $67,000. I think it was 65, 67, and then dropped away. If we look more recently, so we look at the one-day charts, for example, let me just get that. We can see that it seems to be, broadly speaking, operating between the $35,000 and $45,000. So you see, kind of like, imagine two lines. So I can't quite draw them on here, but it seems to be just bouncing between those ranges. And it seems to have just bottomed out recently around about 37,000 mark, which means, and Peter will have far more insights because he looks at far more things than I do on this, that it's possible that Bitcoin is about to break out in some way and is either going to drop significantly or go up significantly. I don't know, Peter, have you been looking at this one in particular on Bitcoin?
No, not recently, but I think it's because of this, a lot of things going on in the world market now. The things are unpredictable, and yeah, I mean, whatever happened, it's gonna have, big impact. I believe it's gonna be, either surge or, go down. But
yeah, and that's the thing that I find is that it's very difficult to predict what's going to go on in any finance market. So I used to work in oil trading. And at the beginning of COVID, I thought oil was going to rocket up in price and become very, very difficult to get hold of. And the price of oil was going to go up and that kind of thing. And it actually did exactly the opposite. The price tanked. And so, I'd worked in that market for several years and called it completely wrong. And then when lockdowns happened and things got worse, you thought, oh, well, that means that there's going to be no demand for oil. So the price is going to go down. Did the opposite. It rocketed up, which is why we've now got fuel price costs going up and everything, particularly with Ukraine making it worse than that. So I find that most future prices of anything are difficult to predict. Crypto's even harder. You just don't know. So I don't know. How's everyone else's experience today? So they're able to predict things okay? Or are you all moving into, Nat's going into NFTs, so that's a more interesting space.
I don't know. Like for me, I think so. First of all, most of what you said there, yeah, pretty spot on. One thing that I was going to point out there, just over what you and Peter were saying, is the one thing that I always kind of tend to tell people, and this is well, I know Gary, you might know, this is what I kind of do in the consultancy space, kind of day to day, just teaching people about crypto, Bitcoin, blockchain. Mm-hmm. People, businesses. Well, oh, can I take crypto payments? Somebody's got a concept. Oh, well, can this work? Can I build this? So, the first thing I always say to people, the bottom line is, just go and read up some stuff about Bitcoin. Learn Bitcoin. Forget 1,001 other cryptocurrencies. Forget how much dough your mate's just made, or Tony down the pub's telling you that he's bought some wonderful picture that's turned him into a billionaire. Yeah, go and understand Bitcoin. Read about Bitcoin. Learn about Bitcoin. I'm not going to do a shameless plug either, but on my website, that's what I do. I just teach people basic. Like, the guides on there are very, very.
So now I think we just lost you there, but when you come back on, please do a shameless plug, because this is all about educating people. So we can't actually hear you at the moment. It sounds like you've got into a submarine rather than a car, because the audio's gone. But we've lost you. What you can do, drop me a WhatsApp separately. I'll stick something into this video, which includes a link to your website, because I'm happy to promote this kind of thing. And I do blockchain.
A regular person to read through about Bitcoin, because the thing is, am I back?
You're back now, yeah. And you've gone again. Okay, not to worry. Well, Nat's unfortunately gone off. But what I'll try and do is, where he's trying to speak there, I'll try and splice in something on his website. But I do blockchain education, consultancy, and advisory work with big companies, small companies, law firms, governments, all sorts of stuff, and they're all interested in this space. For a lot of the time, they don't really know what they want to know. They are still quite early. So even, Rabbi, you're saying, oh, I'm a novice and I don't know anything on that. There are governments which are at the same level that you are right now, so don't worry. So as Nat says, go and learn a little bit if you can. Just read a few website blogs or whatever. Don't get into the really technical stuff. It doesn't matter. Just go to something like crypto.com, blockchain.com, even Binance.com. They've got education things on there. Go and read what they say. Go and learn a little bit about it. But most importantly, have a go. Get yourself a crypto wallet. It's not as difficult as it sounds at first. Just go and get a crypto wallet. Have a go. Just a few euros or whatever. And you will find that suddenly you're learning an awful lot. And once you've bought something, even if it's for the price of a few cups of coffee, it will get you really interested, and then you're hooked. So it's unfortunately, it's a bit like drugs. You get into something like Bitcoin Cash, which is kind of like a gateway drug, that it gets you interested and it gets you enthusiastic, and then you want to go on to the harder stuff, and then you start learning about crypto tokens and DeFi and NFTs, and this is where that's the heroin of crypto then, where you can get totally hooked on it. There's loads of stuff going on. It's a fascinating space to be in. Nat gave us a heart on that as well, so it sounds like he agrees.
I'm back. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
So you can, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, because I'm just driving, so I'm getting my missus to unmute the phone for me. Right, so bit cheeky there, but yeah. As I was saying, like, it's just what I found, Gary, a lot of the time is, as you just said there, I heard the end there where you were talking about the big companies. Like, this is the main thing that people need to understand, that not everybody, like you said, big companies, all of these people that people see getting into the space, even people that are making, loads and loads of money or whatever in the space, so everybody had to start somewhere, right? Some people start with different cryptocurrencies and then they work their way around and they learn. My thing, Gary, I mean, you said you've been in the space around 2016. I started in crypto personally around 2013, 14, and then kind of really got into it, started buying a bit of Bitcoin and that in 2015, 16. So what I'd say is that, again, at that time, you go through the whole 2017 cycle, you go through the 2018, 2019, we come back around to this cycle. This is what I always say to people: you have to go through that first cycle at least, and then the second cycle to really learn, for everything to really just drop in your lap, and for you to be able to really expand on that knowledge. Because when you go through that first season, I think the good thing for me, just to say, is because I watched what was going on in 2013 and 2014 and 2015, yeah, it's like I had seen the end of one season. So by the time that I'd come to 2016, 2017, and everything, you know, got into a bull run season again, that was kind of like not exactly the first time that I was kind of seeing it. And it wasn't the first time that I was kind of seeing the bear market side of it either, but it was the first time that I was learning it. Yeah.
Yep.
And as I said, the one mistake that I feel that everybody makes is they dive in, they go Bitcoin is great, and then they see a million other coins and they go all of these other directions. When, if we really want to say what started this all is, you know, let's just learn Bitcoin, like learn Bitcoin, and then it's very easy to disseminate all of the other ones afterwards. And another thing, sorry, just to add to that, lastly, is I did a presentation last week, Gary. It's funny that you said about you made a comment. My presentation now. Hello, you there?
Yeah, you dropped off just at the critical point where you're about to tell us.
Yeah, sorry. So part of my presentation now, and this is going to standard part of the beginning of my presentations is, yeah, who in this room or who in this building has heard of Bitcoin? And you're going to find out that every single person puts their hands up. The moment you start asking them about anything else, it dwindles. Yeah.
Yep.
But everybody's heard of Bitcoin. So that should just show you that the easiest or the best way, I would say, for people to learn this stuff is start with Bitcoin. Like you said, you don't have to get too technical, but just try and get an understanding of what Bitcoin is and why it's important. Yeah, why it's important is the part that I stress. Yeah. And then once you've passed that stage, it becomes like everything opens up to you. You know.
You're spot on, absolutely. And what I've found is, if I'm doing a talk at a conference or a university or something, if I say to people these days, "Have you heard of cryptocurrency?" Because I make it even wider than Bitcoin. You're absolutely right. Everyone's heard of crypto. If I then say, "How many of you do or have owned crypto?" It depends. The younger the audience is, the higher the percentage own crypto. Definitely. So, you know, if you go to a university and it's all university students, loads of them have got crypto. You then say, how many of you got a pension? And, you know, the older they get, the more likely they've got a pension, but they haven't got crypto. And then you say, well, how many have got stocks and shares? Stocks and shares is the brilliant one. Now, I ask people that, no one holds their hand up unless they're probably over 50, over 55 or something, but very few. But then you say, well, have you got a pension? You go, well, yeah. Well, your pension's actually invested in shares. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, there you go. So you're always learning. So you're right. But I do agree that the best way of getting into crypto and learning about it is go and buy a small amount of something, because it's skin in the game type thing. Doesn't have to be a lot. I used to say to people, you know, instead of having a cup of coffee, you know, just put a few pounds, a few dollars, a few euros or whatever. Instead of buying a cup of coffee, just stick a few euros in you know, a jar or something. And then when you've got 20 euros or 30 euros, go and buy some crypto. So it's not that expensive. And then once you've done that, you've gone through what is quite a painful process initially of having to register, having to get your identity sorted out if you're going through an exchange, having to do the seed phrase thing and storing it away. It's really scary, but once you've done it, you come out the other side, you're suddenly probably more advanced than many other people. You know, and like I say, in a room full of people, if there's 100 people, I find for a young audience now, easily 50% have got crypto. But that means nearly 50% haven't. So I bought crypto originally, partly to learn about it, but actually mainly so that when I was in the room where people said, right, put your hand up if you own crypto, I was one of the few people who could put my hand up. It was purely bragging rights that I did it. No thing on that. So hopefully that helps everybody put it into perspective. Just go and do it. But don't put in more than you can afford to literally lose, which is why I say to people, you know, instead of having a cup of coffee, buy some crypto. And that way, in 4 years' time, if the crypto that you bought is worth 0, all you've missed out on is a few cups of coffee. It's not a big deal. Equally, if it's gone up 100-fold, it's quite a nice present, isn't it? So definitely keep it on there. So Elena, it's time to step into that thing and just buy a few euros worth.
Okay, so by our next session,
Yeah, gonna hold you to this.
I will have done it.
Okay, cool. And look, if you need any help, if you get stuck, you know my details. Reach out directly. That's not a problem.
Thanks a lot.
Always happy to help on that. Yeah. So hopefully, Rebecca, that may give you some incentive as well. Even though you think you're a complete novice, we all are novices at the beginning. All right.
Yeah, like everybody has learned the first time what Bitcoin is. I was wondering if we have different options to choose from, and then so for example you have Tether and Bitcoin, and then something with S. I don't remember its name. So you buy a part of Bitcoin, or which is also possible. So you're buying Bitcoin, which costs right now $39,000 something.
Mm-hmm.
So what you buy is there some cryptocurrency which is your favorite, or?
Mine is simply I like Bitcoin simply because everyone's heard of it, and it's the one that is traded on all the exchanges. It's got good liquidity, which means it's not going to be a problem to buy and sell. Whereas you might buy some really weird cryptocurrency thinking it sounds really cool. So you might hear of meme coins, so Dogecoin, Shiba, anything with a dog on it, basically, are what known as meme coins, where they rocket up in price because Elon Musk has tweeted about them or something. So I would stay with something like Bitcoin as the easiest one, or Bitcoin Cash, which is BCH instead of BTC, and just play around with that. Just buy a small amount. And as I say, you can buy $20, €20 worth if you really want to on an exchange, just to give you that exposure, to just give it a go, to be honest. But assume if you buy €20 of Bitcoin, assume that's it, you've lost it completely. And then if it goes to zero, you can't blame me. And if it goes up by 100-fold, then you can thank me. So that's what. So we're at 8 o'clock in the UK now, and I try and close this off on the hour if I can, so we've overrun very, very slightly. But just going to say thank you to everyone who came along today.
Thank you very much.
Hope as always you've enjoyed it. Peter, thanks as always for coming on and sharing your things. Nats, thanks for joining us. Sandy, good to see you back again.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks, bye.
So hope you all enjoyed it. Hope to see you again next week.
Loved it.
Right.
Take it easy, everyone.
Cool. Come back next week owning a crypto wallet and on some crypto. Okay, so if you've enjoyed today, do remember to click on that subscribe if you've stuck around till the end. Do at least like the video. That's really appreciated. It helps build visibility. As you've seen, I'm all about building the community, helping people.